job here. The first man he approached said he was a stonecutter. The historian walked to another craftsman. What job are you doing? The laborer looked up and he said, I'm building a parapet. The man wandered around the building a little while longer. Finally came upon a third laborer and he said, what is it that you're doing here? The man looked up and looked around and said, why, I'm building a coliseum. All of our work and investment is building a beautiful, vibrant city. As Andrew Carnegie said, teamwork is the ability to achieve a common vision. It's the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. One thing I've learned living in Utah here for a little over a year is the state's character to put your shoulder to the wheel and push along. To do great things in this world, such as constructing and imagining what you'll hear more about today, the Jesse Eccles Quinney Ballet Center. It takes the perspective and vision of many and the dedication of a community. The people in this room have that kind of perspective. Once built, the new Ballet Center will be a crown jewel of the city, state, and region. The Utah community, the Utah arts community is vibrant and dynamic. Thanks to the stonemason, as we referred to earlier, the craftsmen, and the people with great perspective in our community, like those of you committed to Rotary here today, we thank you. Thank you for inviting the ballet to be with you, and thank you for joining on this journey.
Our head table to my left, Shahab's right, is Shahab Saeed, who is a member of our club as well as a former chair of Ballet West. Adam Sklute, who's the artistic director of Ballet West, and you just heard from Scott Altman, who's the executive director. Glad to have you here today. I look forward to hearing more from you. I have Mary Kay Lazarus to my right, and Mike Deputy, our club president, with us today. There are a number of busy Rotarians and guests, and I think it's everyone's nightmare to speak and have to pronounce names that just handed to you a few minutes ago. So I hope I do them justice, and please feel free to interject and correct me as I go through those. With the guests of dawn today, we have Glenn Grundy. Thanks, Don. Or Glenn, excuse me. And then Mike Deputy has several guests here from the Rock Rotary Club. David Mays. We've got Marion Barth. John Castro. And Dustin Jones. We also have two guests of Shahab, along with him, Brian Powell and Barbara Clark. Brian is the incoming ballet chairman, and Barbara is a trustee of the ballet. We're glad to have you here. Also, Alex Quinn and Joshua Jones are guests of Scott Altman. There. And then we have from the guests of Cynthia Lyman, we have Ashley Howard. And this is where it gets a little more complicated. Morocco group. Okay, we have Sana Abed and Anza Dal. I'm so sorry. And then we have Tane Dellenbach, Margot Tane Dellenbach, who's a guest of Bob Dellenbach. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. And then lastly, from our Sugar House Rotary Club, we have a visiting Rotarian, Don Beard. Sugar House Club, Bean. What is that? Bean. Bean. Oh, and Dr. Sadi, who is a guest of Minara Marquez. All right. Thank you very much for being here. We have a number of announcements we'd like to jump into, so we have time for our main speaker. First, we'll turn the time over to Mike Deputy, after which we'd like to have invite Mary Kay Lazarus to give us her information.
Rotarians, it's always an honor for me. I missed a couple of weeks because I was traveling, but I'm so delighted to be back with you. And yeah, you're going to hear more of the folks that are part of these microphones. So, these good folks from Morocco, from Marrakesh, are part of our vocational training team group that we're partnered up with. You club members have heard a lot about the MARE project and the physical rehabilitation training that's going on. This is another group of medical professionals that are here. And we'll hear a little more in a minute, I think, because you're next on the program, so most of Iowa will help us with that. I want to just say thank you to so many of the club members who participated and who donated support and sponsored the End Polio Now Stare Out Polio program that the district put on this last Saturday. You may have seen the emails, I hope you did, about the 5K. Some of us didn't run, we just showed up and acted like we were enjoying ourselves, and we did. 5K zombie run. Well, let me tell you, we had some great zombies from our club there, and also there was, as you can see here on stage, the fellow in the white coat is Alex Boye. What an entertainer this guy is, and he's singing about heroes and how the world is full of heroes. And he's got the superheroes on stage from Comic-Con who participated in that event. And I just wanted to show you some of these pictures. Here's some of our club Rotarians, and I'll tell you, Mark, it takes a real man to wear a costume like this, doesn't it? That's a Rotarian spirit right there. And these young folks we introduced them just a minute ago, the Rock Rotary Group. They're a group of young professionals who have had, some of them, association with Rotaract or Interactive, who are interested in doing service, and we're working on a way to integrate their enthusiasm, talent, and efforts into the Salt Lake Club in some way. Work on that. There's another of our great club members in the middle, Wayne Millard, with former district governor Dean Jackson, and I forget the little lady's name who's in the Stomach Club, I think.
Stephanie Velasco.
Stephanie, that's right. Oh, wow. There were so many that contributed. Here's a kind of a crowd shot. It was a great event. There were several hundred in attendance. They had booths and music, and there's the stage. A lot of the young folks there. So I just wanted to give you a sense of that. And then the concert on Saturday night was out at the Ballet Music Hall, the Regional Center in Bountiful. Was a wonderful show, so inspiring. And they had some of the members of the audience got up and sang, and this Alex Boye gave an inspiring performance. There was also a speech by Mr. Bramish, who's a polio survivor, and he talked about his story and gave thanks and encouragement to all who have contributed, who are contributing to the eradication of polio. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. One other thing I want to say quickly. Rotary for next month has arrived. It is wonderful. Our Rotary editor, Barb Guy, does a marvelous job. The events coming up are on page 1 as always for the next month. We've got great programs each week. So I hope you have opened and read. If you're not an electronic type of person with a computer, Linda always brings a few copies of this also. Please move the table out here. So everybody take a chance to read that. The Rotary. And that's all for me. Thanks so much for your service.
Hello, everybody. You're all invited this Saturday at 7 o'clock, but I think you should come at 6 when the doors open to hear the strategists behind the presidential campaigns of President Obama. David Axelrod will be speaking at a lecture at Roland Hall on Guardsman's Way. It's open to the public at no charge. Any questions, let me know. 7 o'clock, doors open at 6 o'clock. And he's going to be talking about old values and new meaning.
Next year from Wayne
For a long time, you heard me speak about the $10 surgical packets that would result in somebody getting their eyesight or useful, productive lives back. Charity Vision is continuing its work with 50 clinics throughout the world doing thousands of eye surgeries. Now we've finally gotten to the point where we're able to do something here in Salt Lake City and in Utah. And believe it or not, since I'm the $10 guy, right? Here's what we can do for $10. In conjunction with the Optometric Association and Friends for Sight, Charity Vision is putting together this event that you see at all of your chairs, this Race for Sight. We're able to do an eye exam, prescription lenses, and frames on an inner city child, low-income people, for less than $10 and have them out the door. These cost $450. These are high-quality ones we're able to do for $10. So what we're doing is we're putting on a race there at the Best Speedway, 39 South and 5th West, on November 20th. We're going to have the famous Ray and Debbie Goodson barbecue dinner. And we're going to have a bunch of us in the cars racing. Some of us just watching, but I raced out there and given a lone bro. It's a lot of fun. And we're going to have some very high-profile people there. And they will be there to greet you. And if you have any questions, please speak to me. But we think we can get several thousand pair of glasses on young people who need it badly here in Salt Lake and Grand School District and others on other money we raised from this event. So please support us. It's just $100 a person. Or Steve Holtman, our former Senate Majority Leader here in Utah this morning, said, I'll bring my whole family. I'll do the $400 deal. We appreciate that. Thank you. Let me know any information you may want. Appreciate that.
Hello, everyone. The $10 guy here is the Morocco part of the guy. I am Most Guy. I'm really happy to be here with you today because thanks to the support we're getting from the Peace Club, we have vision purpose at this table. Being funded for 1 month, come here to Utah and get trained in Europe. We have protocols and know-how here in the States. And I'm very pleased to say that without the help of this gentleman, he is the founder of the Marrakesh Menara Rotary Club, the one that worked with us. He's Dr. Saidi, he's a zoologist, and he also volunteers his services to help us with patients. We have right now, as we speak, neurological conditions. As you know, urinary issues are very common with neurological conditions. So I'll let him speak to you, and my deputy pastor has a gift for you.
Hello everybody, I am Dr. Sadi from Marrakesh, Europe. Dr. Sadi told me that time is very important to consider. Also told me that people carry lens freely and in this country, so I will see the best and very brief. Dear President, dear past President, dear Rotarian friends, honorable audience, it's a great pleasure and joy for me to speak in front of this wonderful panel animated by self-first and fortified by universal Rotarian friendship. As a Moroccan, I extend to all of you my work, greeting from a country that has always provided to be a relevant friend since 1777. I would also like to transmit to you the salutation of Marrakesh Rotary Club of Menara, honored by the visit of some of you. Let me first express my vibrant homage for the rehabilitation of spinal injury project in Marrakesh. This project would have remained a far-reached dream without strong units and the efforts of all of our partners. Today, patients can challenge their handicap and have a dose of joy of life. They can finally find an efficient multidisciplinary team that provide, among other things, social assistance with integral contribution of the competence of the University Hospital of the City of Marrakesh, Rotary of Salt Lake City, and Marrakesh built an intercontinental bridge. They consecrated humanity and hope for all the patients who need it. Good luck for all of us and long life to our center and our friendship. Thank you for attention.
Is it checking like?
It seems like the Moroccan are building a pattern here. We'll see. So after the traditional Moroccan teapot that the former head of Marrakesh Manara brought us, this is a traditional tray where you put the teapot and the teacup. So.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful. But now move into our program. I have to say, about 20 years ago, I was a young graduate and I worked at Ballet West for 2 years in the movement, and so it's been fun as I've watched all the changes of the ballet to have the opportunity to actually do that today. It's just serendipitous, I guess, but I'm excited to see the direction that the organization is going and all the arts here in the community. And don't forget to vote for the tax approval if you haven't already done that over up for the ballot. So we'll turn the time over now to Scott Altman, again, the Executive Director of the Ballet, and let him introduce our speaker. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Artistic Director of Ballet West, Adam Sklute.
That's a tough word to follow. Thank you very much. Thank you all for inviting me back to speak. I really appreciate being able to talk about what I always call your ballet company, Ballet West. It's okay, I'll entertain questions, any questions that you might have at the end. I last spoke with you in 2010, and so much has happened with Ballet West over the last 4 years, it's hard to know where to start today. First off, last year, we celebrated our 50th anniversary, a major landmark for Ballet West and ballet and arts in Utah and the Intermountain region. I think our founder, Willem Christensen, would have been very proud to know that his vision had lasted for over 50 years and continues to grow. It's also a testament to Salt Lake City and Utah, as this truly is a state that cares about and supports its arts. Very few cities in America can boast a top-level ballet company, symphony, opera, modern dance troupes, and such a host of great theater and more than as there is here in Salt Lake City. That's something we should all be very proud of. Now, in 2010, when I was here before you last, we had all just begun to rise out of several extremely challenging years. And many ballet companies and performing arts organizations of all kinds had succumbed and actually closed their doors completely in some cases. We, however, through a number of tough decisions and judicious cutbacks, were able to keep our doors open and navigate the challenging times and indeed grow artistically. In fact, since 2010, Ballet West has seen a steady growth in our gross ticket revenue, and this too is a testament to how much our community values its arts groups. Of Ballet West until 2013, and as such, he took most of all the brunt of the heartache and the headaches that went along with that period of time, and he managed them beautifully. So thank you to Johan for that incredible time. But now, as we are entering our next 50 years, Ballet West is poised to become a major force both nationally and internationally in the dance world. To start, since 2013, Scott Altman has been on board as executive director, and he has already begun and seen to fruition a host of productive and forward-moving initiatives, and he has made some very exciting additions to the Ballet West administrative staff. Together, he and I are planning many things that will hopefully take Ballet West through the 21st century and beyond. Over the past 4 years, we've seen a drastic increase in the amount of touring that we've been asked to do. This kind of increase is actually wonderfully contrary to what most ballet companies are experiencing these days, as touring seems to be drying up around the country, but we've seen a growth, and that's very exciting. This year alone, we represent Utah in 6 national venues. This past August, we returned to Aspen, Colorado for the first time in 9 years. Some of you may know that Ballet West inaugurated the annual presentation of ballet in Aspen in the 70s. And a number of the patrons there when we were there remembered us from that time and brought pictures of themselves taken with the dancers from the past. It was wonderful how excited they were about our returning. In December, we returned to the Kennedy Center from the 8th to the 14th, and we've been asked back with our wonderful production of The Nutcracker for a whole week. We last went in 2012, and this extremely prestigious venue is a true recognition of how Mr. Christensen's Nutcracker, the first full-length American production of this holiday classic, still thrills and engages audiences to this day and remains widely respected around the country. March 25th through the 29th sees us in New York for our debut at the Joyce Theater. They're asking us to bring an entirely new and cutting-edge repertoire, and they've even procured a grant for us to present a world premiere on our opening night there. I will then present that same ballet here in Salt Lake City the following year. It's interesting to note that this invitation is in many ways because of that we, Ballet West, developed a reputation around the world for presenting new and untried choreography, thanks to our Acclaimed Innovation series. So a lot of things that we are doing locally really are being seen and branched out around the world. Other touring venues include Victoria, British Columbia, April 24th and 25th, the Dallas Opera House, and in Longview, Texas, May 27th, the 29th, and the 30th. I hope it's not too arrogant to say that I feel that perhaps after the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, Ballet West is in many ways the primary cultural ambassador around the world for the state of Utah as we travel out and present what a wonderful arts community we have here. In 2012, another thing that happened since the last time I spoke before you, we were selected to be a part of a new endeavor, a television reality show about ballet. The program revolved around the work and private lives of members of Ballet West and seasons. It was presented by the BBC Worldwide Productions and aired nationally on the CW network. The show continues to be aired to this day in a number of countries internationally. Now, this endeavor was controversial, to say the least, and quite a challenge for us to manage, but it brought an increased awareness not only of Ballet West, but the entire art form of ballet. So I'm very proud that we did it. Some highbrow purists have claimed that we sold out doing this show, but I maintain, one, whatever dance was seen on the program was unanimously recognized as being of the highest caliber, so Ballet West always came across as a quality organization. Two, we did not do that television show for the thousands of people who know and love ballet. We did it for the millions upon millions of people who know nothing about ballet, and hopefully by seeing that show could be exposed to the art form. And three, the footage that they got of Salt Lake City and Utah, if any of you ever saw the show, was absolutely beautiful. The city and the state looked gorgeous on the screen, so that was a wonderful thing for our community as well. So I maintain that that show was a success and is also connected in many ways to the touring that we're seeing. This current fiscal year, 2014-15, is another watershed season for Ballet West as we enter our 51st year. A few months ago, we opened our first satellite school in Utah County, the Barbara Barrington Jones Ballet West Academy down at Thanksgiving Point. The idea of this satellite is to help develop our homegrown talent under Ballet West's umbrella, so that these young students can learn the technical and stylistic details that we want for Ballet West and go to develop into dancers that could easily join Ballet West or any company in the world. We hope to open a number of other satellite schools around Utah and the Intermountain region, and all of them will be acting as feeder schools for our primary academy, which is right here in downtown Salt Lake City. The interest in our academy right now is growing in leaps and bounds, and every year we now have students from around the world vying to study with us. They, plus all the talented local students, are our future. They will become the next generation of dancers in an art form whose artists change so often as the work takes its toll on the body at a very young age. Dancers retire anywhere from their late 20s to their late 30s in general. Our dilemma with all of this interest, however, has been that we simply have not had the space or the ability to bring in as many students as we would like, or as many students who want to come. So the biggest news of the season, as Scott mentioned before, and as I alluded to, and this project has been a long time in the making, is the opening of the new Jesse Eccles Quinney Ballet Center right here, 2 blocks away in downtown Salt Lake City, connected to the Janet Quinney Lawson Capitol Theater. A fantastic 5-studio home for Ballet West. Our company, our second company, our academy, our administration, and our costume shop, all housed under the same roof, connected to the theater. This is a remarkable, remarkable achievement, and one that also not many communities can boast for their arts organizations. So we're truly grateful. With this project, we have the potential to become the primary ballet training facility, not just in the Intermountain region, but the entire Midwest, as most of the major ballet training facilities in the country are located along the coasts. So this is something else that we can now build and work towards. The project, as I said, has been a long time in the making, 14 years to be exact. It started as a home out in Sugar House, and in 2007, which was the year that I arrived as artistic director of Ballet West, we were approached to reconsider and asked to move downtown to make our permanent home part of the new downtown area. This was a wonderful opportunity for Ballet West, and it became a joint project between us and the Salt Lake County. 50% of the funds raised by the county, 50% by us. The capital campaign was chaired by Char Quinney, with honorary chairs Jim and Barbara Clark. And through all of the ups and downs and the postponements due to the tough economic times, once again, Johan Jacobs worked tirelessly to see this project to fruition. We couldn't be more grateful to all of them and to all of our generous donors who made this dream possible. We moved formally into that facility in January, and already we know what to do with just about every inch of that space. So. Now, I would like to speak a little more extemporaneously about our upcoming season for the rest of this year, in conjunction with some slides I have and a DVD. So, Alex, if you could switch to the next slide. So, here are just a few bullet points. Many of them I addressed. This is about Ballet West, the largest and most prestigious ballet company in the Intermountain West, attended by over 70,000 discerning and well-educated arts lovers annually. We may be attended by some other people as well, but we are opening this incredible center, which we'll be moving into in January. As I said, we inaugurated our first satellite school at Thanksgiving Point. We're embarking on a 6-city tour for the rest of the year, and we're responsible for educating, yes, our education and outreach programs reach over 100,000 students throughout the state of Utah and the Intermountain region. So we feel like that is a very important part of our mission and our work. Next slide, please. The top is a little thing that I wrote about Ballet West a long time ago in conjunction with our mission statement. The Ballet West boasts a rich and varied repertoire, elegant and versatile artists, and an American style and legacy that is as dynamic, expansive, and unexpected as the Rocky Mountain region it represents. I actually also like to think that we are as tall as the Rocky Mountain region we represent, as we've been known to have some of the tallest dancers in America. A distinction that we're actually quite proud of, I would say. And then here is a list of our upcoming season. Next slide, please. So the first ballet, and we open in just about a week and a half, is our brand new production of Giselle. Ballet West did Giselle last in 2007, my very first year. It was a different production. For those of you who have come to the ballet, I have worked with a couple of other of the big classics. In 2010, I reworked Swan Lake, and in 2011, I reworked The Sleeping Beauty. Now I'm diving into Giselle. And it's really become perhaps the most fascinating project I've worked on ever. One of the things that has really inspired me about the project is the complexity of all of the characters in the ballet and really trying to flush them out. Another thing that's been a real inspiration is that I've chosen, because we have so many talented artists in the organization, 4 different casts of leading dancers. So if any of you want to join us, and I believe there is a special discount of some sort for all Rotarians. If you look on the Giselle page of the brochures that we've left there. If any of you want to join us, any given show that you see or any different cast, I can promise you is going to be exciting and also quite different. So I hope that we will see you there November 7th through the 16th. It's the ballet I like to call ballet's first ghost story. So it's a good time of year to do it. And it's a big cast, it's got an enormous orchestra, and live animals on stage as well. So there's plenty for everybody. Next slide, please. Our production of Mr. C's The Nutcracker. This is its 59th annual Ballet West production of it. But the ballet was first created a long time before that, in 1944, by our founder, William Christensen, when he was the artistic director of the San Francisco Ballet. This is the first full-length version of The Nutcracker created in America, and to date, the longest running Nutcracker in America, and still one of the most popular, we're grateful to say. So we hope to see you there. We will be doing it December 5th through 6th, then taking a break because we're going to the Kennedy Center, as I mentioned earlier, in Washington, D.C., and then returning from the 18th to the 31st. In February, the 6th to the 15th, we're doing Swan Lake. This was the production that I reworked in 2010, so this is the first time we're seeing it since 2010, and it will have some additional changes and modifications. This too, a massive production, but really quite wonderful, quite moving, and quite dramatic, so I hope to see you there as well. And then next slide, please. Now, Aladdin, which we will be presenting April 3rd to the 5th, is a part of a series that I began 3 years ago. It is what we're calling the Family Series, which had a multitude of reasons behind doing it. First and foremost, I wanted to expose younger audiences to the art form of ballet in a way that was easy for them to get used to. The program runs just about 1 hour with a single short intermission, so kids don't have to sit there for more than 20 minutes. And it also has a narrator explaining the action on the stage, so they get the connection between the dancing that's going on and the story that the dancers are representing. The other aspect of it, which was that I really wanted to build on, was an opportunity for our second company, Ballet West 2, which is growing and in its strength and abilities, as well as our wonderful academy, all levels of our academy, to perform. So this will be presented by Ballet West 2 and members of the Ballet West Academy, from the very little ones to the oldest ones. And it has proven to be extremely popular. Again, if you have any young ones that you'd like to bring to the ballet, please think of bringing them there. Next slide, please. Another big part of what we do, the new and experimental work. Now, this is not completely an experimental program, but it is all about new work that's been done in the last 100 years, because that is still considered new work in our art form. The ballet Square Dance from 1958 is by the great choreographer George Balanchine, and it is a combination of the classic music of Vivaldi and Corelli with a live square dance caller. It tickled Balanchine to combine the two, and he felt like the Vivaldi and Corelli music sounded a lot like square dance music in some places, so it is a very whimsical work. Then in the middle of the program, we have a ballet called In the Middle, Somewhat Elevated, and this is considered one of the great works of the late 20th century by American choreographer William Forsythe, and William Forsythe choreographed this for the Paris Opera Ballet in 1988, and it's done only by a handful of companies throughout the world, and they have to be approved to do this work. So we are one of the companies that has been approved to do it, and it's very exciting and very strong. And then our resident choreographer, Niccolo Conte, is creating a work, Almost Tango. I don't know if any of you got a chance to see last season's The Rite of Spring that we did. It was a very exciting production, and Niccolo is the choreographer for it. So this is his work, and it's very dynamic and very energetic. Next. And then we finish our season with Innovations. Innovations has been a great platform for 7 years for new choreographers, local choreographers, national and international choreographers, and particularly Ballet West dancers as choreographers. So it's an exciting opportunity to see experimental work. And those experimental works, as I said, have helped us go around the world and around the country to represent Ballet West, because a lot of venues really want to see new and untried creations. Next, please. This is a couple of photos from our Thanksgiving Point, the Barbara Barrington Jones Ballet West Academy down there. It is a beautiful state-of-the-art facility with 3 exquisite studios and wonderful facilities for students down there. And again, the idea is to allow them to do their early training down there closer to home, and then be able to come up here when they've gotten to a certain age to finish their ballet training as part of our main academy. And then the next slide, please. And then here is a rendering of the new building, the Jesse Eccles Quinney Ballet Center. I'm sure that most of you have seen it if you've driven down Second South. We can't wait. We can't wait. It's very, very exciting. And if you come to see Giselle, you will actually see the expanded lobby and be able to take part in that. Not the least of the exciting part of that is perhaps 5 times as many restrooms as the Old Capitol Theater. So I think that's something that particularly the women in our audiences will appreciate, so that they don't have to have lines around the theater at intermission. So there you have it. Next, please, yes, join us for this exciting era for Ballet West. And then do we have one more, I think, or are we going right on to? Yeah, I have a very short, it's just a couple of minutes long, but it's a little compilation of our rehearsal process for our upcoming production of Giselle, which opens next Friday, and a couple of short interviews with some of our dancers. So you turn the volume up.
Giselle's always been one of my favorite ballets. I learned the first act creation when I was probably 13. I really enjoyed it, just the types of people acting. When I found out there was a mad scene at the end of that one, then I was hooked. And then when we did it the last time around, probably in 2007, I remember being really inspired by Peggy and Amy, who did the role. Yeah, I remember them crying in rehearsals, and yeah, I was inspired, but also I just wanted to do it so badly. So it's really cool that I actually get to be able to do it this time.
I'm performing Hilarion in Giselle. And to me, Hilarion is just like Albrecht, hiding something from everyone. In this case, he is hiding the fact that he knows Albrecht.
think Act 2 is probably the most challenging part. Just technically, you have to, through your physicality, I guess, show that she is no longer human, she's a spirit now. And yet, it's so controlled. So you have to be really grounded and yet give a feeling of airiness and lightness, which is difficult.
As an audience, I would hope to see a true ghost story, a true tragedy. Ballet can be eerie, spooky, and powerful, very powerful storytelling.
You all come to see the fruits of our labor.
So again, I hope you all can come and join us for Giselle or anything in the program. One last thing to add. Actually, if there's anything that we address program-wise that really inspired you now, you can start buying tickets now. This is one of the new innovations that we've actually started. And so you can buy tickets for any of the programs throughout the year if you want to start thinking ahead and planning. Are there any questions about anything that I've addressed or about Ballet West in general or facilities? Sir?
Yeah, it's artistic. How do you go about forming your season? What shows you pick? What's your process?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. As artistic director, how do I go about forming my season? What ballets do I pick? What's my process? You know, I always look at, I like to cook a great deal. And I think of planning a great season like planning a great meal. So I want to give a sense of variety, but harmony to all the things that we're doing throughout the year. You know, you want to have one aspect that might be a piece of comfort food that audiences know, like the Nutcracker or something. Something that is grand and spectacular, like a swan leg. Maybe something that's a little bit more challenging for the palate, like in innovations, and create that kind of balance and harmony. I scour around the world. I travel an awful lot and see ballets all the time, so I can constantly keep up with what is new. And then I also do a great deal of historical research because I always want to respect the history of our works as well. And then I look at the works and how long we've done it. It's been since we've done them here. If we're going to repeat something, I want to give the right amount of time, but not wait too long or not bring something back too soon. So it's always a balancing act and a planning act. Then, after I've decided on what I want to do, then we go into the budgeting process and I have to change everything because we can't afford to do half of it. So, but that is just all part of it, and that's how we go about doing it. And ultimately, it's about making the best program possible. So,
Any great ballets in the world that you look up to, and some explanation of that?
any great ballets in the world that I look up to? Well, I have to say, actually, quite honestly, and this is not just because we're doing it now, but Giselle has always been one of the great works that I've looked up to, as well as Swan Lake and The Sleeping Beauty, which I already worked on. You know, my heritage, I trained purely in classical dance, but dancing with the Joffrey Ballet, the full-length story ballets that we did were not the standards, which have always been a part of Ballet West's history. So when I came here, it was very exciting for me because I wanted to respect and work with the legacy of Ballet West and with Mr. Christensen's vision. And so I was very excited to dive into the classics. I had actually never physically worked on them on a large scale before. I had done some guest work as my I danced the role of Albrecht and a few other things in other productions, but they were smaller productions. These great classics, there's a reason why almost 200 years later, Giselle is still a great classic and still has such exciting storytelling. The reason is because they really are good works. So that would be the answer. And the best ballet companies, meaning the companies that I think, oh my gosh, you know, again, that list can go on, and so much of it is a question of taste. Yes, you mentioned the Bolshoi, but the Bolshoi also has a unique style, as does the Paris Opera Ballet, as does the Royal Ballet in London, as does the Royal Danish Ballet. These are all ballet companies that I admire a great deal, but they all have a very different and unique approach, and some people like one versus the other because it can't be like apples and oranges. One more question. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so for the new ballet center, what was the cost and how did we raise the money? Well, I'm also going to ask Scott to step in on this for some of it where he knows, but I believe that the overall cost, and correct me if I'm wrong, was about 32 million for the entire center. So we raised 15.35 of that. The project started, as I mentioned before, like 14 years ago. And a lot of that money was originally raised for the Sugar House home of Ballet West then. And then when we were asked to move down here, it was a lot of the generous donors transferred their gift from the Sugar House project to the downtown project. And then it has just been raised through trial and error in the capital. We had many, many generous donors that we're grateful for. And several very, very big gifts, wonderful gifts that have naming rights, elevator gifts that are wonderful, people who have rightly given wonderful gifts that we can then put names on, to very small gifts. At a time, so many of our dancers and patrons gave anywhere from $50 to a few $100 on top of large multi-million-dollar gifts. So it's really been a labor of love. Big, big team effort over the years, which is what's so exciting about it. So there you go. Thank you so much.